All right, guys, so I just want to quickly go over what JavaScript is and why you should use it. So JavaScript is essentially the Java programming language, as the name implies. I'm kidding. JavaScript has nothing to do with Java other than they share a similar name and they're both programming languages. So JavaScript is one of the core technologies of the web alongside HTML, which is a markup language and is used to structure web page content, as well as CSS, which is used to style that content. So JavaScript is what brings life to the front end or the user interface of a website or a web app. And it allows us to make web pages dynamic. Not only that, but it can also be used on the server side to do things like interact with databases and work with the file system. And this is with the help of the Node.js runtime. So JavaScript is a high-level interpreted programming language used to create interactive and dynamic website experiences. And when I say interpreted, what I mean is that it's executed line by line rather than being compiled into machine code first. So the code is executed on the fly, making it a scripting language, hence the name JavaScript. So as far as what JavaScript is used for, I wouldn't be able to fit everything on this page. So I'm going to go over just the general things that JavaScript is used for. So first off, it's used to manipulate the DOM, or the document object model. And I'll be going over the DOM in depth, but you can basically think of it as a tree-like structure of nodes, and everything on the page is a node, including every HTML tag, every attribute, every piece of text, and so on. So JavaScript provides methods for dynamically changing that structure, or changing the content or the styles of the elements in the DOM. For example, you can use JavaScript to add, remove, or change text of a heading, or the content of a div, or the styles of an element, such as its color, font, and size. So this is an important aspect of JavaScript, as it allows developers to create dynamic and interactive web pages that can respond to user actions. Now, those user actions are called events, and JavaScript gives us a way to handle events. So we can respond to things like mouse clicks or drags or hovers, keyboard events, form submissions, and just about anything you can think of that you can do in the browser window. And again, this allows us to create very dynamic interfaces and things like modals or drop downs, collapsible content, and so on. So making asynchronous requests is one of the most powerful uses of JavaScript, and it's used to interact with backend servers, whether it's your own server that you created or a public API such as the GitHub or YouTube API. So we can make HTTP requests right from our code to fetch data or submit data, and this happens all behind the scenes without having to refresh the page. And this is often used in what are called single page applications, or SPAs, to dynamically load and update content without having to reload the entire page. So as far as animations and effects, there's many different ways that we can create these using JavaScript. We can use CSS transitions and animations with JavaScript. There's the request animation frame method. There's different libraries like animate.css and GSAP. So these methods allow developers to create a wide range of animations, such as fading, moving elements along a path, scaling, rotating, and so on. Now, data manipulation, which is the process of modifying or transforming data, can be done with JavaScript because it's a full-featured language with data structures like arrays, and this allows us to sort, filter, and aggregate data. So there's all kinds of powerful array methods that we can use, such as map, filter, reduce, and we're going to get into all of these later on. So JavaScript can also be used to store data on the client or in the browser using things like local storage, session storage, and cookies. We can also create single-page applications, or SPAs, and these are applications that load a single HTML page and dynamically update the content without having to reload the entire page. And this provides a really seamless and responsive user experience. So no page reloading. We can create different routes and so on. And usually you would use a front-end framework for building SPAs. So you'd use something like React or Vue or Angular, but you can also create them with vanilla JavaScript. Now, everything that I've said up until this point is all client-side or front-end JavaScript, and that's where it is used the most, I would say. But you can also use it on the server side with the Node.js runtime, as well as Dino. So in addition to consuming APIs from the front end, we can also create APIs that interact with databases on the back end. And there's a ton of frameworks that you can use to help you with this, including Express, which is extremely popular. And we'll actually be creating a back-end API with Express later on. So the last thing I want to go over are some reasons why you should learn JavaScript. So one is popularity. JavaScript is one of the most widely used programming languages, with millions of developers using it to build websites, web applications, browser-based games, server-side APIs, and more. So it makes it a very valuable skill to have, and it opens up many job opportunities and allows for collaboration with other developers. So it's also very versatile. It's used, like I said, on both on the front end and back end of web development, making it a full stack language. This versatility allows developers to build complete web applications using only JavaScript. Not only that, but there's technologies like React Native, which allow you to build complex mobile applications, and technologies like Electron, which allow you to even create desktop applications. Some of the most popular desktop apps are actually built on JavaScript and Electron, including VS Code, which is the text editor that we'll be using, as well as Postman, which is the HTTP client that we'll be using. So I would say that JavaScript is relatively easy, relative being the key term. So if you compare it to other languages, especially more low-level compiled languages like C and C++, it's much easier to get into. And I think anyone who has a passion for coding can learn JavaScript. And you don't have to be some genius. You don't have to be great at math or anything like that. You just have to have some drive and the willingness to learn and put the effort in. So JavaScript also has a very, very large and active community, which provides a wealth of resources, support, tutorials, and tools for learning and improving your skills. From websites like Stack Overflow to social media, JavaScript just has a huge reach. And when it comes to tools, like actual development tools, there's so much open source software. So you have NPM, which is the Node Package Manager, with I think it's like 1.3 million packages that you can just download, install, and use. So there's no shortage of resources or tools when it comes to JavaScript.